G'day, Mick at Diggermate here. In this video, we're going to talk about the micro excavator, the Wacker Neuson 803. We're going to discuss some of the things we like about it, their benefits, and how you can use this machine to get your next dream project started right away.
Want the best rates on mini excavators and tight access earth moving equipment? Go to diggermate.com and get it done with Diggermate.
So this is it, the 803 Wacker Neuson micro excavator, the smallest in its class. It's just 1 ton in size, but the width and the height are the real specs that count. It's the narrowest excavator that you will find on the market. If you can't get this excavator into your job, you won't be able to get any excavators into your job. Still really powerful, it packs a punch and can do a lot of work really efficiently. The digging depth of this is 5 feet, the reach is 10 feet. Now for the other specs. So the width, that's the most important part. If we just look at the smallest blade width here, we have got 700 millimeters wide. Of course, these tracks narrow and expand as well. At its widest, not that this is overly relevant, but it's 870 wide at its widest. Now, the ROPS is just a single bar across the top. It can fold down with this little quick release, but as it sits right here, we have 2.22 meters tall. The height right here to get through tight access, I mean, it's going to be as tall as the height of your head really, but it's 1600 there, so it's going to be, you know, sort of 6 foot. So you're going to be able to get through doorways, into houses, through real tight little narrow crevices to allow you to work in more open areas. Of course, you can't operate with the machine like this, so you'll have to stand the ROPS back up and put the pins back in it to operate the machine, but certainly it's a go anywhere little excavator. Inside the 803 is a 13.8 horsepower engine, so quite powerful for a machine of this size. The hydraulic flow means that this machine can also get 2,000 pounds of breakout force. So as a little machine, it can handle quite a big job, and it's also small and nimble, so if you've never operated an excavator before, it's really non-intimidating to get on and can do any work around your backyard project that you'll throw at it. All right, so let's get on this little machine and check out the ergonomics. I'm 6'3", and actually, as I get on it, I feel quite high in the chair. There's a lot of space and plenty of room for my knees, and it already feels quite comfortable. Wacker Neuson are German engineered excavators, and they take pride in all the small details, especially when it comes to making you comfortable. And I've been on some of these small excavators in the past, and there really is no room, and they're quite difficult to operate. And I can already feel right here with the current amount of space and the layout of the controls, I'm feeling quite good, and it's going to be very easy and comfortable to operate. Actually, let me just flag that the seat was all the way back. If I put the seat all the way forward, there's absolutely no room for me. So, seat all the way back, pretty comfortable. Now the controls. The configuration of the joysticks are no different to any other excavator. So to start with, we are going to leave the safety up, which is on either side of us here, and start the machine. Put the safety down to operate the machine. Now the controls, as I said, are identical. So on the right control, if you pull back, the boom comes up. If you push forward, the boom goes down. Left and right on this is the crowd feature, so basically scoop and dump on the bucket. On the left side, back is bring the bucket in towards you. Forward is push the bucket away from you. And then left and right on this will turn the whole machine around on the tracks. On the outside of the joysticks, on the right side, you've got your dozer blade. So this one just brings your dozer blade up and down here like this. And on the left side is your throttle. So pull it back for high revs, push it forward to slow it down. Generally, you will keep it up all day long. You've got controls on your feet as normal. On the right side here, you've got your slew. So this is the boom independent of the machine, pivoting off here. that's just heel and toe. On this side, you would have your hydraulics. Nothing's working at the moment because there's nothing attached. So this controls the hydraulics for the attachment. So if you've got an auger on or any sort of attachments, that's what that side does. And finally, in the middle, you've got your controls for your tracks. 2 forward and 2 back, make the machine go forward and back. Or if you want to turn the machine, you can turn left and right, just like this. Of course, the greatest benefit to this size machine is its tight access and how narrow it can actually get. It's hard to believe that this is its widest setting at the minute, but if you wanted to narrow the tracks, this is how you do it. So you'll get your bucket up off the ground and you'll turn your bucket to be at the opposite end to the dozer blade. Push the buckets down onto the ground at that end to raise the tracks off the ground just slightly. And then with your dozer blade at the rear, push that down to get the machine entirely off the ground. Now there's a lever right here in between your feet. We're going to lift that up and that will now change the hydraulic flow from the dozer blade to the tracks. And if we use the dozer blade control again on this side, we can bring the tracks in. Here they come, all the way in. And now that, and it's going to put this back here and drop this down again. Now that is the tightest access excavator you will find anywhere on the market. This is the standard set of buckets you get on the 803 micro excavator. The 300mm trenching bucket, 450 bucket, a ripper, and the mud bucket on this one is 740mm wide. The 300 is for trenching. It's the standard size that most trades want for majority of trenching. You can get smaller buckets if you need. So if you need a, say, 200mm bucket for irrigation or something like that, then please ask us for that because we can supply it. The 450 bucket is your general purpose digging bucket. You generally will dig with this one, not this one, because you've got teeth on the outside. So you've got teeth on the 450 bucket and you've just got a blade on the mud bucket. So this guy here is good for moving bulk materials, although not a huge bucket for moving bulk materials, but final trim and finishing off is what this bucket is also used for. So these are the three, oh, and you've got the ripper over here. You've got the ripper, which is great for ripping out roots, ripping up concrete. It's hard plated, so it's a lot stronger than any of the other buckets for pulling anything out. So these are your standard set of buckets, which should do majority, if not all, domestic or tight access commercial work where this machine's going to go. Love this little machine. It really can go anywhere. It's the tightest access on the market. And it's also a great one to have a crack on if you've never operated equipment before. Okay, now you know about the machine. Let's look at some of the troubleshooting and maintenance that you may need to address while using this machine. You've got to wear your seatbelt. Really pains me to say this because it's so obvious, but always wear your seatbelt when you're operating any machine. The biggest problem we really have when hiring this machine out is people having the safety bar down to start the machine. So your red safety must be up to start the machine and down to operate. That's your safety controls. The rollover protection device called the ROPS, the roll bar at the top, can be folded down for tighter access where height is an issue, but you must put the roll bar back up again to operate the machine. So its main purpose on the fold down is just to get through an access area and then put it back up again. The dozer blade on the machine serves a couple of purposes. One of the main ones is pushing soil where you need to use the dozer blade feature, but it's also a safety mechanism. Always have the dozer blade pushed down in the dirt in front of you when operating the machine. It keeps it much more stable and can level you out if you're on an uneven surface on a gradient or a slope. You should always operate the machine with the tracks wide as possible. One of the benefits of the 803 is how narrow it goes, so it's really great to get into tight access areas, but where possible, always operate with the tracks wide to give you the best stability. When operating on a slope or a gradient, always keep your buckets to the high side of the machine to prevent it rolling over. If you need to have your buckets on the low side, then keep your bucket as low as you possibly can. So if you tip over, you're only going to hit the bucket and the bucket can push you back up again. And now for the maintenance. You probably won't need to do any maintenance on this machine if you're just hiring it for a day, but if you have it over an extended period, there are some things you'll need to check on a daily basis to ensure the machine is working at its most efficient. Under the seat, you'll find all the engine components. Here, you'll need to check the air filter, make sure that is cleaned out each day and it's not full of dirt or dust. You'll need to check the oil with the dipstick, fill it up if it's required. There's a water fuel separator in this machine, so you need to check that, and if there's any water in the water fuel separator, you'll need to empty it out by undoing the bulb and emptying the water out completely. You'll know if there's any water in there by the pink yellow ring inside that bulb. The ring will raise up if there's water inside the water fuel separator. Having a decent amount of hydraulic fluid in the machine is important. The sight glass for the hydraulic fluid level is actually on the back of the machine. It looks like a beeper, but it's your sight glass, so you can look through there and see to make sure there is hydraulic fluid in the machine. If you need to top up the hydraulic fluid, you have to open up the engine bay again and fill it up from in there. And of course, greasing the machine is really important. There's grease nipples all across the boom, all around the machine and inside the track tensioners. So make sure you grease the entire machine every day to keep it lubricated and working at its most efficient. In wrapping up the Wacker Neuson 803, this is a fantastic little machine where super tight space is an issue. If you've got a little bit more space, you want to go for maybe the 1.7 or the 2.5, something a little bit bigger. But if space is your issue, this machine is super powerful, still packs a punch, and can still get your job done. If you've got a tight access job, why not hire the Wacker Neuson 803 from us at Diggermate? We've got locations all around the country and you can book online at the link below right here at diggermate.com. If you want more tricks and tips, continue to check out the rest of our YouTube channel on links right here and here. Thanks for watching. We look forward to seeing you soon.